Okay. First off, my name is John. Nice to meet you all. Just want to share this crazy dream that happened with you all. I remembered this dream in a lot of detail. I had this dream when I was 19, and I'm now 34. So that's a long freaking time to know this dream in detail. It's kind of important to me. For me, there's a bit of a religious thing to it, but other than that, I don't care what you think. It's just a really cool story. So check out this dream. So the way the dream starts off with, I'm in this field. That's where it starts. It's crazy, in a field. Anyways, so there's a yellow tent in the air, like it's everywhere. You look there, you look there, yellow everywhere. It's crazy. I'm like, where is this yellow tent coming from? This literally goes through my mind. And I look up and I notice the sky is blood red. It is freaking crazy. Like, I'm like thinking, the sky's supposed to be blue. Why is it red? And why is it so freaking, like, creepy red? And then I start to take notice to the fact that there are these clouds that are literally racing through the sky. Like, they're dark gray clouds. They're very thin. And they're just whipping by, like, super crazy. And there's a lot of them. Like, it fills the sky. Obviously, you can see the sky because it's red. And then there's these gray clouds just whooping through there. When I first noticed it, the clouds are moving from my right to the left. And they're moving like watching cars on the freeway, like the super highway. So I'm like, this is really weird. I'm creeped out. Like, this is some like apocalyptic thing. I'm thinking it's an end of world or something. In the distance to my right, I hear this very deep, like baritone-ish, like evil laughter. It's like really creepy, almost like Bowser kind of from Mario, except it's very real, very loud, and very deep, and it sounded super evil. It was extremely creepy. So I'm like, what the crap was that? So I look to my right naturally because you kind of want to know what it is. It just made this hideous laugh. And as I'm turning right, moving the clouds, now going directly at my face over my head, I see this shed. It's like this wooden shed. Okay? And it's like just right there. And I'm like, why is there a shed here? And then just as that thought crossed my mind, I see this fireball shoot through the sky. It was like this massive fireball. It wasn't this little dinky thing. It was massive. It was like the size of a car or bigger, flying through the sky. Raging ball of fire. It was freaking crazy. Like, what the frick was that? And then there was another one, and another one. The freaking sky was getting lit up by these fireballs just coming from that deep voice. I never saw the creature or whatever it was that made that noise, but fireballs were literally coming from that location, and it freaked the crap out of me. Like, that is nuts. I thought it was best since I didn't have line of sight established yet. It didn't know I was there, so I'm like, before it finds me, I'm going inside this shed. So I hurried myself up and I rip open that door and I get inside and I close it behind me thinking, okay, he doesn't know I'm here, so he's not going to shoot me. I should be safe, right? Inside this shed, just like 3 or 4 feet in front of me is where it starts. There's this bunch of wooden furniture, from wooden desks to wooden chairs, all kinds of wooden stuff like baby cribs and dressers. If you can make it out of wood and it's a furniture item, it's in this shed, and it's a much deeper shed than I thought it was. I thought it was a regular backyard shed, but this thing had distance. I couldn't see the back of it because there was just so much. I was like, this is really weird. And for some strange reason, I had this need to spit. So I spit on the floor directly in front of my own feet. And this is the creepiest thing that I ever saw, because when my spit hit the ground, like not even a whole second after, it turns into this creature and like tries to attack my foot. And I quickly pick my foot up just in the nick of time before it could actually get to my foot. And then right as it's going with my foot, it just splashes down and like disappears. Like, what the crap was that? I'm like, that is some super weird crap. That was my spit that hit the ground. Like, what the? Is there something in me that's making me hallucinate or something? As I'm looking up from the spit, I then see this frog. Nice little green frog. I think, oh, there's a frog in here. Big deal. Well, inside this frog's mouth, as the frog is literally opening his mouth like this slow, on the tongue of this frog is this like little white needle. I'm like, that's kind of weird. I've never seen a frog have a needle in his mouth. And just as I finished that thought, he snaps his mouth closed and spits the needle straight into my arm. I'm like, what the frick, frog? What did I do to you? I quickly pull it out and throw it on the floor like, that is not cool, frog. Don't do that again. And as I'm pointing at the frog, telling it not to do that, it's opening its mouth again with another needle ready to shoot at me. And I'm like, what the crap, dude? And then other frogs start literally coming out of the woodwork, which is an odd thing to say, but it literally is like a ton of frogs popping out of the woodwork. It starts off as just a couple, and then a couple more, and it's just like a whole freaking army just coming out of the woodwork. I'm like, that is too many frogs. And they're all doing the same creepy thing, and it's in perfect synonymous like movement. And I'm like, I'm not getting shot by all of you. So I quickly get out of the shed, and just as I'm closing the door, I hear the needles hit the back of the door. I'm like, that is creepy crap. Frogs don't do that. What the crap? So I'm like, okay, so there are demon frogs in the shed full of woodwork, which is crazy weird. I got fireballs still in the sky flying over me because, my back is against the shed. This crazy creature is behind me shooting these fireballs over my head. The sky is red, the clouds of gray still racing through the sky. I have got no idea what the heck is going on. So I'm like, okay, the least I can do is kill these frogs before they go off and shoot other people with these needles. Because heaven knows these things are going to possess people or something. I don't know what's going on. These frogs gotta die. They're like demon-possessed frogs or whatever. So I get this notion in my head. That's what I'm doing. That is my mission. So periodically I would open the door and I would stomp on as many frogs as I could because for some reason they were getting closer to the door. I don't know why. But I opened the door and I would stomp on as many as I could and I'd close the door before they shot me with the needles. And I did that back and forth 3 or 4 times. And then, okay, I'm making some progress. There can't be that many frogs. But every time I opened the door, it was like everything I did was pointless. There were just so many freaking frogs. Like, I was getting ready to abandon the frog thing because it was ridiculous. And just as that happened, a fireball literally takes off the top of the shed. Like, it takes the roof off, blows all this debris right over my head. I hear the crashing of the fireball coming through the shed, so I ducked just in the nick of time, and it whooshes right over my head. I'm like, well, that's not cool. Does the thing know that I'm here? How did it see me? I've not gone in front of this thing's face. Like, it shouldn't know I'm here. So there is no more door, and there is no more frogs. I'm like, did the fireball kill them? Like, it only took off the roof. There's no more frogs. The fireball just took off the roof of the shed, which is a lot longer than I'd expect a shed to be. I'm like, well, I don't know where to go because I don't know where I am. And I was just about to turn the corner of the shed just to get some bearings to see where I could go for cover and safety. And just as that happened, a fireball almost directly out of the sky hits me head on. Like, I'm now fully encompassed inside this fireball. And the craziest thing about it was in like fractions of a second, as this fireball is hitting me, I knew that the only way I was going to come out of this alive would be to go to my knees and enter into immediate prayer with Heavenly Father. It was the absolute only way I was going to survive it. And surprisingly enough, it worked. Because in the dream, the fire never touched me. Even though it was a massive fireball that had a dead beat hit on me, I mean dead center hit, I was literally in the middle of it. The fire never touched me. And I prayed and I asked God, I need help. I don't know what's going on and I need to be able to defend myself. Like, there is an evil here that needs to be destroyed and I'm going to go take this thing out. And out of the sky, directly over my head, and this sounds very cliche, but this is how cool this dream was. A golden sword, well, the handle was golden, the blade was not golden, but to me it was a golden sword because the sword just out of nowhere slowly descends from the sky above me. Everything is black. It's just me and the fireball in this dream at this point. Everything else has just passed away. It's just darkness. complete black darkness, me and the fireball, and I asked God for a way of helping me to defeat the evil that's now trying to destroy me, and it gives me this sword. God gives me this sword. I reach up and I grab it with a vengeance, and I race out of this fireball without even the smell of smoke. I didn't even have smoke coming off of me, okay? I was completely unscathed by it. And I go charging straight into that darkness, and I just start swinging. Of course, I'm just swinging in darkness. I don't know what I'm swinging at, but that's how the dream ends, with me swinging this sword that I got from Heavenly Father into the darkness. I told you this dream because at the time I had that dream, I was 19 years old, and I was going through a severe heartbreak from a girlfriend who had a horrible way of breaking up with me. And I was really depressed. And that dream gave me a lot of hope. And it gave me a fight. So I thought that was pretty cool.